Hey, okay, I think we'll laugh now. 3 times I've tried. So, I'm gonna do a short one today, probably like, I don't know, like 40 minutes or something like this. But that's continuation of yesterday, which is already progress, I guess, uh, for me to continue on something. So, I stopped yesterday with this guy on switching it to mobx, and what we've done is only added this observer thing. And somewhere, I think in my index, I actually created the store and put the observer there, and we saw the observer appear in the as a prop, which is great, but still kind of requires a lot more work. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna run I'm gonna run my tests, and what my tests are gonna do is they're gonna just verify and they help me check that if did I break anything. I might have broken something already actually, but I'm hoping that nothing is broken yet at this stage. They're thinking really hard. Ta-dun. So as you can see, I actually in my brr, okay, I'm actually have not um, properly tested some stuff. So for example, this is not tested at all, so it shows me coverage very nicely inside. And I just wanted to put the live video chat on the side so I can see it if, in case anyone, VS Code is on the wrong screen I think, but I'm just gonna move it in a second. So my active project is, why it's still called GraphQL, really? I unfortunately cannot change the name, so, I just don't know how to do it exactly. So if I get this, that's what I wanted. A chat to go to desktop 2, and then you go on desktop 1, and you go on desktop 3. What's going on? How do you manage to all move around different desktops? Right. Okay, so my chats are on desktop 2, so I can quickly jump and see if anyone is asking any questions. And my OBS here on desktop 3, just so that in case if I need to stop it. Okay, cool. So yeah, so this app again, which I'm trying to make a bit easier to read, and the particular thing we're looking at is the delete button. I actually, after thinking some time, maybe the delete button is a bit more complicated, and the easiest one will be the edit button, which I know is change, but this is not a big change. What this button does, it just flips the state of one of the, I can actually show you what it does. So it takes one of these ideas and it has this editing thing, and what it does, it flips it. See, as soon as I flip it, it flips to the editing form. So pretty straightforward, but it's pain nice now because when I actually do it, I need to go through button, ID display form, ID list container. So it's 5 things that I need to jump over to reach the actual place where I change the state. And what I want to do is use mobx instead. So we're gonna go open the mobx docs again. If only I remember where it was. I think it was this one. Yep. And I forgot to start the timer. Oh, here we go. Timer started now. So actually it's 42 minutes, 40 minutes, because I've been streaming for 5 minutes at least now. Okay, so blah 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 blah. They have this thing called actions here somewhere, and what I like about this action concept is that we don't then trying to put everything. So that's used some functions to modify the state. And the example they give you this one. So I don't think they give you an example with React, however, but maybe when they show this egghead lesson, React use mobx sections. That's a problem with egghead, that if you're not a pro member, you cannot do anything practically. Um, So the actions, as far as I understand, they usually define inside the store itself, and then yeah, I know this part. Is it you're gonna show how to do it with React? That's because as far as I understand, this is the thing that I'm kind of a bit confused about. This action is part of the store, so we put it on this store, and we have like a thing called public action, I guess. Action public. I need to get it from mobx. And here we need to grab add idea, let's say. And so I had something like this last time, but then we can just push it inside with oh yeah, I have this new idea thing, new idea, and we push the editing equal to false. And I'm gonna kill this now, just so. But actually, in this scenario, we're not interested in this action. We're interested in the action called edit. I guess make idea editable. I don't know what they call it. Edit idea. Let's call it this way. So this is the idea to edit. And then somehow here we need, like, I mean, the simplest thing I can think of is that we find the idea by ID. And then because it's mobx, we can just go and say, hey, whatever, we're just going to say editing now is true. And it's supposed to magically update everything. Ooh. Oh, yes. So this is actually a very great scenario where TypeScript just helps you, like, hey, you're trying to compare string and the object. You forgot something here. Very easy error to miss. And yes, if you have tests, they will help you with this too. But I make a lot of errors like this, so for me it's beneficial to have TypeScript which tells me like, hey, you're doing something stupid here. Okay, so for now it's not going to change anything, but what I can do in my store now is when I have this handle ID edit a click, instead of doing what I'm doing here, I'm just going to say store dot, yes, I need to save the store, yes, this dot props dot store dot edit idea. Okay, I apparently said you can only pass the ID there. String. Let's just change this. And whoops. I'm trying to remember which shortcut to press to go back, and it doesn't work for me. Okay. An ID. Here, okay, and I'm going to comment this out for now. So this is supposed to change the store, however, it won't be reflected in our code. So to make it reflect in our code, what we can do is we can, instead of using these ideas, now we're going to take ideas from the store, and this is where things going to break completely. Yeah? Those ideas, so const ideas equals. So let's see how much they're going to break. What? Argument of type string is not assignable. Yeah, there is a property store. I can see it right there. Unless I didn't make it public. No, it is public. Cannot read ideas of undefined. Why is it undefined? Why would it be undefined? I thought the store is always passed. Anyway, so it's giving me a different error completely now. It says that that's a cryptic one. Oh, sorry, this is the test error. I'm getting confused. Um, so this is the error from the. So the test, they fail because they don't know what this prop store is anymore. So that's fine. But what it doesn't like here is. Oh yes, oops. Const ID equal idea. Should have looked at the. So it says it's potentially here it's undefined, and actually this is a valid, completely valid thing because find doesn't always return to you an idea. So it asks you to do this, which is actually a very good thing because what the heck is that? Because you then protect from all this. So you either need to be explicit and say, okay, this thing is not undefined ever, but find does return to undefined. So what do you do in this scenario? Why it's not loading anything anymore? Oh yeah, right, because I moved the ideas. Uh, so I'm gonna. Oh yes, I cannot add new ideas either. So on, yeah, I do need this guy, so I can add an idea. And I'm gonna need my new idea thing. And let's presume that this is the only thing we need to do. And I'll add clicked. So instead of doing this, I'm now gonna do add idea. Oops. This dot props dot store dot add idea. And I'm not gonna pass anything, I guess. This is a bit strange thing I'm doing here, because I don't know what I was thinking when I did this, but I don't actually need to pass anything here. Okay. So it doesn't like that I have this new idea, but I'm not using it. Okay, so now we should be able to add ideas again. Yes, no. So interestingly, I click on this guy and it doesn't do anything. Okay, this container, store, ideas. Ideas is empty, so when I click on this, the ideas doesn't get updated. Aha, I wonder why. So handle add clicked calls add idea, which is supposed to call this idea push. Am I not understanding how to use actions? Oh, so action takes a function. Why am I missing this temperature? Yeah, it's just setting this stuff. So I'm wondering, is this ever called? Can we just? I'm gonna just put const log here. Called or what? Actually, what I can do instead of trying to do all this crap is to press debug. Yes, add. Whoa, that is new. I'm like, cool, how do I remove this guy? Whoa. This is the weirdest real breakpoint I've ever seen in my life. And I do not know how to remove it. Here's one small problem I have with Quokka is that it's kind of like that, not Quokka, that thing that I'm using. It gives you this crap that forces you to not see anymore. Anyway, so I can start the debugging here. It's Chrome and it's localhost 3000. And I think it didn't start. Debug. Oh, here we go. Did it start or not? It's supposed to start Chrome. Here we go. It started it. Not sure what's going on. Here we go. Yes. Um, so it does look like it didn't start, which is kind of weird. Oh yeah, it did start. It's just and I have this crazy password there. Whatever. So if I press plus, oh, that works. Great. What I actually wanted to see is if I can put like a debug breakpoint here or some shit. Yeah. Shift F9 apparently is the shortcut for this. But how do I remove this debug breakpoint? This is like, oh, here we go. That's the one. Remove all. Okay. So I don't want this like this stuff, but I want to just be able to add a breakpoint, and that's a bit painless. I think it works actually. I might have needed to refresh this. So if I press plus, yeah. So it works now. It's not very exciting because it doesn't do much except that. But what I want to see is that first is can I so if I have this here, when I click edit, it's showing me the wrong thing for sure. Then it goes crazy a bit. What's going on? My mouse is lagging significantly. Store ideas. Okay. Ooh, so this is editing true actually, but it is not switching. So this is a good question why it's not switching, because I am switching it to editing, but my this guy, maybe it's because this sort by average score. So let me just remove this for a second and check does it work then. What? Property form was accessed through the proper type chain. Use decorate instead to declare proper to access this statically through owner. There was some crazy exception, I don't know what it meant. Okay, I'm not getting this thing. So when I refresh and I press add, my add does not happen for whatever the heck reason. Yeah, it's there. Why can't I see it? So I think what's happening is this guy might be observing stuff, but it is not realizing that this guy is updated for whatever reason. Thought it's supposed to understand those things automatically, and looks like it doesn't. So when I pass the ideas here, this is a relatively simple scenario. So I get the store, I grab the ideas from it, and ta-da! It doesn't really work. And then here they show an example of this, right? They do the props, to-do list, which is the store essentially, and then it pops this to-do, and then whenever you update the to-do, it will do the things. So this observer here, even so I have changed the to-do, I have added this, it didn't call render, and the way we can check is we can just console log the render here, because that's what it should do. Yeah, that's not from here. So if I refresh, it gives me render once, then it gives me another render, and then I press again. I'm actually pressing it, and it's not re-rendering it. And it's probably because I've added like 2 or 3 elements. Yeah, so we have these new ideas, but we don't see them here. Um, so here's the question of like, do I need to get this guy, make this guy an observer? Because maybe it's like if this guy is not observing anything, then whatever you're just passing. Uh, oh yeah, that's the problem. Interesting. So every because they're not doing this here. They're not marking this guy as observer. Oh yes, they do. Blind. So you need to decorate every part which is observing, because otherwise it doesn't detect that it needs to do anything with it. Interesting. Okay. So if we mark this as observed, this thing now works, and if we do this, that doesn't work. So maybe the reason why that doesn't work is because when I change this, let's save this guy. When I change this, and I can sort them again, but I just don't want for now. When I change the idea display, because what it does, it renders two different things. It renders either this guy or that other guy. And if I change this to have an observer, and I think my idea display form needs to have an observer too. Sounds like this observer is going to be all over the place. Damn it. I can just observe it here. Guess. Up. Import. Okay, now what? ID edit form, I forgot to add. So now if I press plus and I press edit, it still doesn't do anything. So how does this edit supposed to work? And that's relatively simple functionality, right? So I'm changing this from editing. So if I could have just added the new one, but this is the new one, and the new one's supposed to it's supposed to show. Oops, how does this happen? They switch around. Strange. So this doesn't even have editing, and by default it's that could be the reason why, because I'm essentially adding the property there. So I'm not changing it, so it didn't. That's an interesting thing to keep in mind. I think this might be why it didn't work. Oh damn! Oh, that's interesting. Okay, that's kind of interesting, and the reason why I think I don't need modification for the forms. So let me just discard those changes, because that looked a bit confusing to me. Yeah, nice. Okay, so now is the big question. For this one example, how do I push this idea that that thing down there, because I need to give this action somehow to my to the bottom level. I don't want to. I'm trying to avoid passing it 5 different levels. So in Redux, what you do is you throw it to the store. But here the store is, I still instantiating it on the top. So do I need, sounds like I need to have a connect, like a store which depends on another store or something like this. So here's the actions, action bound, blah, blah, blah. Yeah. Action state view. Okay. Yeah, but actions, how can I make them? Because even here they don't show you, because I remember looking at this and they don't actually show you how do you it's not a state container. Okay. Oh, so here they give you an interesting example where they say, okay, so here you get your store, and if you want to change, I mean, I can probably do that. I can probably just go to my button for the edit, and literally say here. I mean, here I'm not getting past anything, so not much I can do here. But in my idea edit form, I can in theory do this when I ooh, no, which one? Idea display form. Okay, confused with them. So this is the thing that happens here, and let me just quickly introduce a constant here. Handle edit click, and what's gonna do is just gonna grab the idea because I have the idea here, and then it's gonna say add bloody hell. Right, great. This syntax, I never figured out how do I like get that and the other one, because I will like, it's often a situation where I want to get this and the things inside of it, and now I need to do something like that. Oops. I guess just idea, and here becomes an idea. Cannot read property content of undefined. Why is it undefined? It's not undefined. Okay, here we go. Handle click. So what I can do here is I can grab the ID and I change its editing to true. And I'm not gonna call the top level anymore. And then we'll see what happens. In theory, this should just work, but this is very messy. Oh, really? I can actually comment out this guy on edit idea, handle edit idea, and why are you complaining about something? Oh yeah, cannot comment this one because, but I can comment out the stuff here so to make sure that nothing gets called. Okay, so if I click this and then click that, that actually works, which is pretty cool. Now the question is, how do I give this guy the store? So I can, like, there's no, this is not static, so I cannot just, I either need to pass the store all the way through or pass the action all the way through, which, if I'm passing the action, is practically the same as passing the function. So I don't really see how mobx improves over standard React over here. Let's see if maybe I don't understand something. Oh, and there's this part where maybe it talks about actions more specifically, because this is very specific to React. See to do MVC, so this observer. Should component terminate, component will react. So what about actions? Nope. Okay, let's look here. They're using actions, models, to do model. Okay, so they have this toggle thing. That's a good example. And I have components, and there's the to do up, to do entry, to do footer, and to do item. So to do item has an observable edit text. Ta 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 ta. So handle edit. This props to do. They like, oh, so they're using the store here, view store to do being edited to do. And I guess so we're passing the store all the way down. Yeah, so looks like this to do is passed there, but then the store needs to be passed all the way. And how do they pass the store then? Ah, I think here's the thing. So if I look at to do up, I guess this will have to do overview and to do store passed manually, right? So there's two different stores. There's to do store and a view store actually. And the to do entry, that's a new one, I think. That guy has the to do store again. And where's the toggle thing? Okay, here we go. This guy renders to do item. I think to do item renders. Yeah. So here we need to keep passing this freaking store everywhere. I'm not really sure that makes it. Like, yeah, we're passing one object now instead of 20 different ones, but that means that practically, because the way that it's done in Redux, right? We do map dispatch to props, and we're not passing the store there directly. I mean, we are passing the state, which is a certain way kind of similar to what the store in mobx is. But we don't. It seems to be more isolated. So when testing that specific component, it doesn't know about the whole store. It only knows about the actions. Map dispatch to props. So maybe mobx allows you to do something like map dispatch to props. What is this? No, this is the Redux. Okay, here we go. Right, and so here we go. He has a store, he has some stuff, and he has some actions. Oh, so he's using a provider here. And if you use a provider, then it injects the store. Okay, that's different to what I'm doing, because I'm manually injecting it. If you pass our store, so which this case called okay. And reducer modifies the state. Yes, it's just Redux. Why are we doing it in Redux? What? Did you just compare Redux setup practically with mobx setup? Okay. So that injection will give us the store here. But how do we abstract our child components from knowing way too much? Hot reloading, server, inject the head and inject somewhere here. So can pass the store using React context and opinions to child components. This is useful for things you don't want to pass through multiple layers of components explicitly. Injecting be used to pick up those stores. However, the component text list of strings make the stores available. Okay, So we just put inject color and we grab this guy and it gets everywhere. Disadvantage is testing. It updates an observable store, no trigger render. Oh, so it updates an observable store. If updates to an observable store, no trigger render, make sure using class methods for React lifecycle. So this component will mount, will create a property. Okay. When using inject and generate by the correct order, inject is available as the rough component. The create order. So, okay, customizing inject. Here we go. That's I think is the one. Instead of passing a list of store names, it's possible to create a custom mapper function passed to inject. The mapper function receives all the stores, the properties with which the components are invoked, and the context, and should produce a new set of properties to obtain the original. So that does look like it does look like this guy is actually similar to map dispatched props, I think. Oh, okay, so inject also accepts a function, all stores, next props, next context. It can be used to pick all designs from available store like this. The additional props will be merged into original next props. So instead of giving it the store, what we actually can give, I think, and let me just put the provider around it in index.js. I mean, this guy. So instead of doing it like this, we can say, whoops, provider, and say that the store, let's call it ideas store maybe, is a store. And we need to wrap this guy with the provider. And yes, I put it in the wrong place, so I need to move this return statement right here. It doesn't know where provider is coming from. Yes, I don't know either. I think it's from React. Is it from React? It does look like a React standard provider, to be honest. Provider. Where are you coming from, provider? Yeah, but okay, so let's presume that this is coming from React. Happy? Property owner refers to type, but being referred. Okay, maybe it's from mobx. From mobx. React. Yes, no. I think so. Yeah, here we go. Now we get the provider. So now this guy gets, we're not gonna pass, oops. Let's just call it store, so we don't need to change too much. Okay. So I guess this container now is gonna have property store is missing in type, so we're gonna inject stuff here, and we're gonna inject the property, and they say what to do with the TypeScript here. We can inject, so this is all stores, and then we grab the ideas store, and we grab the all stores dot. Where this is all stores coming from? It's like so you need to mark it optional. Okay, it's the only way you can actually do it. So I'm just gonna inject the I'm just gonna inject the store here then. TPP not very engaging store. And this is from mobx. Okay, hopefully this is still working the same way. Yes it does. Oh. I think it's because this might be undefined if ideas. Like I don't understand what this thing is. What is this thing that gives us? Okay, if this.props.sort ideas and const ideas equal props.store.ideas, and otherwise nothing. What is wrong? Object is possibly undefined. Yeah, no, I'm checking for it here. Is not undefined. Happy now? Oh, the store is undefined. Okay. If props is store, then we'll grab the ideas from it. Yeah, infer this from the usage. Here we go. Now it should be happy. Which part is undefined again? He's gonna make it pain in the ass if we make it fun, like optional. That's why I didn't want to do it. It should not be passed in by parent component at all. Oh gee, okay, really? Didn't bang it. This is getting weird JavaScript. This is not a real JavaScript now. This is kind of some strange JavaScript beginning. Okay, that works. Surprise. I mean. And so what should be able to do now is instead of passing it all the way through, we can just say here. I'm not passing the store now anymore. This guy doesn't know anything about the store, but I can say here that, hey, I want to modify the idea. So where's our display form? Now this guy, what's gonna do is gonna say that it wants to inject here the store, and then we do store oops, so we need to add it to the props. Store is the ideas store, and we don't necessarily need to give it the whole store, but I'm just going to do it for simplicity's sake for now. 5 more minutes and I'll be done. Okay, store dot this dot props dot store, or we just grab it from here. Whoops, did I just remove it accidentally? Store. So we do store dot missing trailing comma, okay. Store dot add idea, not add idea, edit idea, and we pass the ID of the idea, which is right there. And this is actually just the whole freaking function, so we don't even need to have this handle thing there. Just do this. Ba-bum. What you don't like? Yeah, that's whatever. It needs to have that thing here. Can I see? Yes, in the test it will fail for sure, but sweet. That is actually really interesting way. So right now we're passing the whole store, which is so what I can do instead. Hey, I didn't let inject. Where the fuck the store came from? Not like magic. I didn't pass it here. Did I not refresh the page or something? Oh yeah, I did not refresh the page. Like, that was highly magical that it actually worked. Oh, why is it? Oh yeah, no way. Because we actually need to inject it here. Inject store. And I forgot to say that this is observer, but thing shoot, that works. And the way that I can check it, if I go inside the oops, I don't keep refreshing because I didn't fix all of them, so it's kind of cancel doesn't really work. If I go inside this guy, we will see that it's not this guy. This guy, it has a store now. Cool. So what I can do is last change is I want to have instead of grabbing the string thing here, I want to give it a function, and this function is going to return edit idea from the store.edit idea. So I'm kind of creating something like what's wrong here? Yes, it does. Oh, it doesn't know which type is this. This is ideas store. I believe. It says it's all of them, but I want to just let's presume that this is all stores, and that means that all stores dot store. Not very good names, I know. So the type of this guy is store ideas store. Happy? I'm not happy. Put too many. Oh, can't find name all star. Yeah, I don't know what I'm doing here. So all stores, and that's the type. Okay, and then I do all stores dot store dot edit idea, and that gets returned. Yes, it does. It doesn't exist on type store. Which type is that? What? Okay, I need to fight a bit with the easiest thing is to put this guy as any. Don't bother. For now with the typing, and then store.edit idea. Just to make sure that this guy works. So in a tested file for sure, but here now when we add a new one we should have the props there passed as oh yeah, forgot to pass the props. Yeah, there's this edit idea function here, and actually I can call this function now, and I need to say that hey, this function is turns void and I kind of need to do this thing here just so that it doesn't bug me now. Idea store, yeah, whatever. linter. This is undefined. So, ha 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 ha, ha ha. Binding. So I would need to do bind all stars dot star, and now it will work. But here, I can actually make this guy. If I don't use class there, then this painted desk wouldn't be there. So I might switch the ideas. Edit store. Where is ideas store to do? So here, I think I should be able to do this, and then this will bind it automatically. And now it should actually work. Oh yeah, nice, awesome. So this is actually exactly how you I can replicate. I don't like this inject necessary. It kind of looks a bit weird, but this is pretty close to React and Redux, and I think it's a bit simpler than Redux. So hopefully, after I figured all this crazy setup, I should be able to change edit to use mobx to do more next time.